Well, thank you so much for staying with us here on Morning Live on this Friday morning. And of course, still a bit to get through. And we are going to be talking in a very short while about one of the ANC leaders, Dr AB Xuma, and, you know, just talking about his legacy and, of course, what is going to be done, as our guest, Tumi Mogorosi, is in studio with us, and he'll be telling us a little bit more. So many people may not know that Dr AB Xuma was the first black South African to become a medical doctor, as well as being a well-known leader and activist, and also President General of the African National Congress from 1940 until 1949. Now, Dr. Xuma's house will be the site of a presentation by internationally renowned drummer and theorist Tumi Mogorosi, titled "Tumi Mogorosi Presents Group Theory, Black Music, Remembering Dr. Xuma" on February the 17th and 18th, which is, of course, today and tomorrow. And this will be taking place at the Trevor Huddleston Memorial Centre in Sophiatown. The show attempts to spotlight Dr. Xuma's often underscored legacy, and as a result of the demolition and forced removals in Sophiatown, there's only one house left that was there then, and that is Dr. Xuma's house. Now, Tumi Mogorosi joins us in studio to tell us more about this. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming through, Tumi, and this is absolutely fascinating.
Thank you for having us. And yes, of course, Dr. Xuma presents one of those silences in our history. So, I mean, I think group theory, black music, is trying to pay homage to these moments that may not be in sort of like the collective consciousness of the country, and how to incite these memories that have become sort of like lost in the unconscious of the attempt of freedom. And you get, you know, figures like AB Xuma, Dr. AB Xuma, who's a catalyst in bringing some of the most formidable sort of like figures within the movement itself. So, you know, I think our stories and our narratives become sort of like under the rubble, just like Sophiatown, you know, the forced removals and the histories that are buried under there. But Xuma's house is there as this figure that is pointing to certain directions in the ongoing sort of like attempt for liberation.
So, just as a matter of interest, why was Dr. Xuma's house not one of those that fell to ruin?
I mean, I think, you know, the link with Father Trevor Huddleston, and the link with sort of like the cultural move that also sort of like precipitates politics outside the purview of politics proper, right? So you have characters like, you know, the drum generation, for example, and the famous Brahu, you know, who and the cultural space that I think Father Trevor Huddleston sort of like cultivates in conjunction with Dr. Xuma. And this is how we also get to find a space to think politically within the cultural space. So, I mean, I think, you know, it is a political move to have that space there, but I think it's for us to also like ask these questions that somehow seem forgotten. And, you know, there's still elders in the space who still remember certain things, you know, the Freedom Park, they still remember certain. So, I mean, I think it's for us who are also interested in these questions to sort of like do the digging, you know.
Yeah, keeping memory alive, as it were, and we very often, I think, don't do justice. You know, we could be doing so much more, which is why this for me is, you know, absolutely fabulous, because now I literally want to go there and I want to see this, because you would remember that it was during Dr. Xuma's tenure as head of the ANC that the ANC Youth League was established. A youth league that came in and were very disgruntled and said they did not like what was going on. They felt that the leadership was too conservative at the time, that things needed to become maybe a little more militaristic than militant. and you know, Dr. Xuma was warned by others that if he would allow for this establishment of the ANC Youth League, as it were, that would lead to his undoing, which it eventually did.
I mean, and this is a beautiful thing about foresight and the ability to let go. And I mean, I think there's a pedagogical moment, or sort of like a lesson in that, in establishing or in allowing to be questioned. I mean, when the Youth League was established, like figures like Mandela were saying how conservative Xuma is, and the need for like an armed rebellion, right? And there was a serious tension within the movement, right? And this is the legacy of the Youth League within the broader frame, right? To always be antagonistic. But I think we've lost this culture of talking frankly. My supervisor, Ahmed, speaks about like the notion of Biko, of frankness. So I mean, I think we've lost this culture of talking frankly with our elders. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful story, and it's very poignant, and as you say, just harps back to reminding us about being able to speak frankly. And speaking of speaking frankly, one of the things, one of the stories around that sort of tension between the leadership and Dr AB Xuma and the Youth League and its members at the time speaks of Nelson Mandela, who remarked at how grand Dr. AB Xuma's house was at the time. And this is the house in question right now.
Perspective, right? And I mean, of course, we suffer a history of anti-black sentiments, even within the construct of Sophiatown itself. So I mean, I think we even within the multi sort of like racial sort of like orientation that the ANC was sort of like, there were always these race versus class issues, right? And of course you find like, people coming from the homeland, and Sophiatown is it's a new world. It's part of the construction of the new world. And so there are these serious tensions around value, around inferiority, and around the need for black consciousness itself, right? Around the need for black consciousness itself to take a foregrounding move, as opposed to the slow progression of getting education, there was a need for like a revolution that was immediate. And these are the sort of like, I think, contentions that are still with us. That these are the afterlives of the freedom dream that is still deferred. So I mean, I think we're still grappling with these things. Is it only economics, or is it the liberation of the mind, right? Or is the liberation of the mind, like Frantz Fanon would say, the psychosocial, right? It is the psychology that is living out there. The unconscious is out there in the world. So I mean, I think we still are grappling and
with those tensions and trying to answer those questions.
Yes, and I mean, I think this is not an answer. This is a moment to sit with those difficult histories.
And beautiful just to see how these questions are addressed in this instance through the arts, through music. And drummer Tumi Mogorosi is still with us. He'll be back later on in the show to give us a taste of what is to be expected at this concert. And maybe we'll also get from him why this particular project, why it's important for this project to take place in the venue that it will. Tumi Mogorosi, he'll be with us later. Let's take a quick break.